Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 2 of the Work Without You challenge. So last week we looked at one-to-ones and we explored the value and importance of one-to-ones. This week, we're going to look at something called huddles. So we started with one-to-ones and we started with why, to help get your relationship, help you get a stronger relationship with your team, basically. So one-to-ones are designed to help you get to understand your people and for them to understand you. Now what we're going to do is look at how we can create a greater team cohesion and almost to allow teams to self-manage so that you can step back from the day-to-day and focus on the future. So the best way of doing this is team huddles. These are commonplace in manufacturing where, people all stand around for a huddle at the start of the day for kind of a 10 minutes. The principle's exactly the same. I've provided you a link in the comments, and that gives you a template for what a huddle should look like. Now, typically when I do huddle boards, I recommend that they're done every day, no longer than 10 minutes. And it's a whiteboard that people complete the relevant information on the wall, on the whiteboard, so it's visible for each of your departments. That way, you as a business owner, you can walk around your business, you can walk into a department, have a look at the visual management board, the huddle board. You can see straight away the performance stats for that department, how they're performing, what's important to the people. And also you can see who may have been outstanding last week or who's given somebody else some great support. So you can instantly look at the board and go and thank them for a fantastic job like last week. It's a great celebration tool. So the thing with the template that I've provided you is please don't use this to drive the creation of your huddle. The most important thing about creating a huddle board is allowing your team to come up with the content on that board themselves. Don't dictate it, don't manage it, resist the temptation to get all over this and own it, because if you do that, you'll turn your people off to some degree. So the key for me with this is it's for your team to create themselves without you, and it's what's important to them. And they will naturally design a huddle board. You could give them the template and say, this is typically what's contained within a huddle board, but allow them to create it, even allow them to name it. They could call it a fun name and just something that they're involved in, they can get engaged in. So here's my top 3 tips for introducing huddle boards. So tip number 1 is do not manage this. Do not get all over this. Allow your team to design it. Maybe have someone champion it. So whoever you think's best in the team, whoever the team respect, and go to, maybe they champion the creation of the huddle board, but don't let it be you driving this. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is keep it to 10 minutes. So I recommend daily huddles for 10 minutes each day. Everybody stands around and discusses what's important to them. Daily might be a challenge, so you may want to introduce them weekly. The key thing for me is it's that consistency and that regularity of running the huddles that allows it to be short, sweet, to the point, and gets the messages across. If you don't do it on a regular basis, you'll end up having a conversation meeting rather than a huddle meeting that gets straight to the point. So for me, regular, often, short and sweet is much better than a conversation thing that nobody gets much value out of. And the next is agree roles and responsibilities. So as people are creating the huddle board, I recommend that a different person leads on presenting the huddle board each week. So somebody new does it each week. That way everybody gets a feel for it. Participants have a different experience when it's somebody else running it. So I recommend a different person runs it each week. And make sure that the board is filled in with relevant information prior to the huddle meeting. The last thing you want to be doing is stood there around a huddle board and people are like, well, where's the data on this? Where's the data on? Make sure it's all completed before you get there. So agree kind of roles and responsibilities. And they're my top 3 tips for a huddle. So the beauty of a huddle board is it's a visual management tool. So you'll see from the template that I've provided, things like holidays are on there for the next kind of month, 2 months, however far out you wish to go. Things like competency and skills matrix are on there, transparent, clear, everyone can see it. And what happens with the team is they'll naturally be looking as they're gathered around and they might see that Fred is off in 3 weeks' time and he's the only one that has the skill and competency of dealing with this element of the job. And they self-manage. So somebody will probably say, oh, well, I'd like to learn that. Can I sit with Fred between now and then before he's off? And then I can, and it self-manages, it's visual. It's more than your eyes on the job. It's a lot of eyes on the job. So you make sure you capture everything and that you're proactive. So huddles are so powerful, a fantastic tool, but please make sure you implement them correctly and let your team decide what's important to them, not you dictating what's important to them. It's a tricky topic, and the implementation is the most important piece, really. Once you've implemented it, it'll evolve and gain legs. So look, if you need my help, if you need any support, you know where I am, just direct message me and I'd happily try and support you on this because it's so important. Okay, next week, we're going to talk Fantastic Friday, a fun way to start the summer and a great way to celebrate your team's performance and behaviors. So join me next week for that. Thank you, guys.